We had been there for about 4 months when, in a dream one evening, I was assigned to rescue hostages. I remember bursting into a secret cave in the mountains. After moving through the corridor, I proceeded to search the cave for prisoners. When I had burst into a room, I found Cherie, all tied up and gagged. I untied her and took the gag out of her mouth. Ted, she exclaimed, just in the. I put my hand to my mouth, telling her to keep quiet, and we quietly stepped out of the room and moved toward the corridor back into the entrance. We were soon ambushed by her kidnappers, all fully armed. They demanded that I put down my weapons, telling us that we were both to be held hostage. I complied, setting down my weapon before suddenly striking one of the kidnappers with a quick blow to the jaw. Before anyone else could react, I had knocked out two more opponents and now had two guns in my hands. I shot down two men who attempted to grab Cherie, and then quickly attacked another one. The rest of the men fled, and Cherie, relieved that I had saved her, threw her arms around me. First it's my career, then men stalking me. Now terrorists, she said. You saved me from them all. As we made our way out of there, she proceeded to tell me her story. She had been in Tel Aviv, Israel, for a fashion show when spies had captured her. She had talked about having been mugged while walking down the street. The next thing she realized, she was tied up and gagged by the enemy, who told them they were holding her hostage for a new ultimatum: the withdrawal of American forces by that weekend or they put her to death. Threatening them with the death of the eighth wonder of the world would certainly force the Americans' hand, she had recalled her captor's words. Imagine the uproar of the public if she dies because they don't withdraw. I turned and hugged her, promising not to let anything happen to her. You're safe with me, I said. You can stay by my side while I'm on duty. As we spoke, other SEALs came to our aid. Storming the cave, they found her captors and held them incarcerated. Other fugitives would soon be released. We accompanied them all back to the base, where they would soon be flown home. When we arrived back at the base, Cherie and I had been given some time to ourselves, and we went for a walk in the park somewhere outside the city. As we were going down a quiet path, she turned and tugged me at my arm. Ted, you're like a guardian angel to me, she had said. One moment I was in Israel doing a show, the next thing I know, I'm captured and held hostage by the enemy, and they're sure to put me to death. And then who should come to my rescue but you? I had no idea that you were coming to rescue me. I smiled at her and took her under my arm as she went on. Ted, will you continue to hold me through the storm? Will you be there? The rest of the day she had stayed by my side, as I was stationed at the Tigris docks at Baghdad, Iraq, to inspect the incoming cargo, and by night she accompanied me as I made my nightly rounds to enforce a curfew throughout the city. The following morning, we were stationed at the port again when air raid sirens suddenly went off. Hostile aircraft flew overhead, unexpectedly firing at us. Our forces began firing back at them, but a missile landed near us. The subsequent explosion blew us back many yards, destroying the docks and killing many of the workers there. Gunfire and explosions rained down. Cherie and I were injured, dying. I reached out to pull her near, whispered that I loved her, and mustered the last breath to kiss her for the only time. I suddenly started awake, drenched in sweat, realizing it was all but a dream. But it was then when I realized that my love for Cherie was more than that for a sister or a close friend. Okay.